What's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video guys, I have some custom tactics for the formation that I've been using this weekend, this being the 4-3-2-1. Now to be honest, I did start a couple of games with the 4-2-2, but we did end up getting like a penalty loss which I wasn't too happy about, so I wanted to switch it up, and since then we have not lost with this 4-3-2-1 for the 4-3-2-1. On the defensive style we have this on balance. This is because it is still the most controlled defensive style you can use. Basically it just gives you the most control over your defense, so when you want to be aggressive you can do that, and then when you want to be a little bit more passive you can also do that. When it comes to applying pressure as well, there is another setting which we'll get onto in a moment, but you don't need to have any pressure tactics on at the moment. Now moving on to the defensive width guys, because I was noticing a lot of the time there was a lot of gaps in between my defense which I did not like. It was just too easy for my opponent to attack. I decided to narrow up my defense a little bit. On 40 width we've still got enough of the width to be able to cover the wider areas. It just makes us a bit more compact through the middle and makes it more difficult for our opponent to just play right through us. Moving on to the depth guys, this was the thing I was on about when it came to pressure. So as I said, you want to have this on balance, but with the depth on new gen, if you have your depth on 71 or higher, you'll get this very broken automatic press from the game. It basically defends for you. You'll also get an automatic overload of the ball side, and it also breaks your opponent's attacking AI. So it is a very broken tactic, which I hope EA ends up fixing, but right now this is your best bet with the depth in this game in my opinion. If you are on old gen or you really don't want to use this depth, you can lower it to like 60 or whatever you prefer. There's not specific number to use. Now moving on to the build-up play guys, I have this on balance. This is because I find it to be the most controlled and varied form of build-up. When you have this on balance, you can pick and choose when and where you use each form of build-up. So if you want to build up slowly, you can do that, and then when you want to build up a little bit faster, you can also do that. So it gives you the control and the variety that the other settings will not give you. Now moving on to chance creation guys, this is very important in my opinion. It's absolutely crucial that you have this on direct passing. Now the reason this is so important is because the way the defensive AI works in this game, the way it is super part of the bus, this tactic is the only one which you'll be able to break it down with, because of the way the players will track back and you can do like the cutbacks and things like that. It's not ideal, but direct passing is the only thing that will break that low block and the only thing which will consistently give you chances. Players will also seem to make more dynamic movements and bunch up against the opposition defenders, meaning you can isolate a specific player and take him on in a 1v1 play. So direct passing, very, very important. Now moving on to the attacking width guys, I have this on 46. Now the reason I do this is because, like I said, the 4-3-2-1 is a narrow formation, so we don't have the width crazy high because it makes it play out more like a 4-3-3, and if we wanted that we would just use a 4-3-3. So you want to have a nice narrow width, but you don't want to make the width too narrow to the point where your players are like stuck together. So this seems to be the sweet spot for me. Moving on to players in box guys, this is a preference thing, but I just have this on 7 at the moment. This is so I can get a lot of players into the box to help me finish off those chances. There is a bit of a trade-off however. If you do lose possession of the ball, you are more likely to be counter-attacked, but I think it's worth it with the way the game is at the moment, because you know, if you have a low amount of players in the box, it can be very difficult to actually finish off any chances. As for the corners and free kicks guys, this is a preference thing. You can pretty much just have this on whatever you want. I'm currently rocking 3 and 2, but you can do 3 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 4, whatever you want really. Just completely up to you, so just choose whatever you want with that. Sorry to interrupt the video guys, but I have noticed around 90% of you that watch the content are not subscribed, so if you are finding any of these videos helpful, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, as it does help me out massively. Also don't forget to drop the video a like as well. And with all that aside guys, let's get back to the video. Now moving on to the player instructions guys, on the striker we have him on stay central and get in behind. Very important to have him on stay central in my opinion, so he doesn't drift out into the wider areas. It's important that our striker does stay in the central position so that he can finish off our chances, and he's always there when we need him basically. We also have him on get in behind, so he does make those runs in behind the opposition defence to give you the best chances to score goals. I'm honestly not a big fan of getting behind, but this year I think it's very important against the pressure tactics to try and get that runner in behind to help break through the press. So getting behind very important at the moment. Now moving on to the right forward, guys, I have him on stay central and getting behind. Stay central for a similar reason to the striker. Basically this forward, if we have him on balanced width, he will drift out wide sometimes and it will make it more like a 4-3-3, which you don't really want. Like I said, this is a more narrow formation, so you do want your attackers to primarily stay narrow, which is why we have him on stay central, so he does get into such narrow pockets of space. We also have him on getting behind for the same reason as the striker, where he will always make those runs in behind the opposition defence to give you the best chances possible. Now moving on to the left forward, guys, this is very important. We have him on comeback on defence. This is because it will make the team defend in a 4-4-2 shape, and this is absolutely crucial, especially in higher divisions and competitive games. This is important because it gives you the best coverage of both the wide and narrow areas at the same time. The 4-4-2 is great at being a nice compact defence whilst also covering wider areas, meaning it's very difficult for your opponent to play right through you. So if you have this left forward on comeback on defence, he will come back to defend as a left midfielder in the 4-4-2 shape. This is important because it will make more sense when we get onto the centre mids in a moment. Now moving on to the left centre mid, guys, I do use a more box-to-box style player, so we leave him on the default settings and then put him on cover centre. We have him on the default settings because, like I said, this is a box-to-box player, so we don't just want to restrict him to defending. We want him to do a bit of everything from defence to attack, so we kind of just let him do that. And then a very important instruction is cover centre, so he does primarily defend those central areas and position himself as one of the centre mids in the 4-4-2 shape. Now moving on to the right centre mid, I do use a more defensive minded player. So on this player, the one that is more defensive, we have him on stay back while attacking and cover centre. Stay back because obviously he is more defensive, so we don't want him flying forward. And then cover centre means that he will defend as one of the centre mids in the 4-4-2 shape that we've got going on. If you have him on cover wing, it will mess it up. Now moving on to the right centre mid, guys, because I said this defends in a 4-4-2, you don't actually have to use a centre mid in this position. You can actually use an attacker and you will be fine. This is because, like I said, doesn't have to defend as a centre mid, he will actually defend as a right mid with the cover wing instruction, which is why it's so important to have this on. So you can use an attacker here, which is why I also have him on get into the box across. This is somebody that will actually assist us going forward. I did used to have this on get forward, but I think balanced attacks a little bit better because he seems to sit in more balanced positions as opposed to just flying forward willy-nilly all the time. Moving on to the fullbacks, guys, on your more attacking one, balanced is really good. This is to give you like a wider option when you do go forward. This formation can be very narrow, so it is very useful to get that extra person up the pitch to give you a way out if you're struggling. And then for the other fullback, the more defensive one, stay back while attacking. This is so you always have at least 3 defenders back at a time to make you as defensively sound as possible, but yeah, you can still manually send this player forward and that is fine. The reason I've changed this from overlap to mixed is so you can get a bit more of a variety with this player when you're going forward. Sometimes we will make the inverted runs if like the left forward, for example, is hanging out wide, so it's just a little bit more balanced and a bit more free flowing, which is why it's been really good. But yeah, guys, that is basically everything for the video. The centre backs we don't touch, the keeper we don't touch, but yeah, that's basically it. If you have enjoyed this video or found it useful, please be sure to drop it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out, guys. Take care.